Live on playback. It is 3 p.m. Eastern. It's a new edition of the MMA Outsiders. My name is Sam Bando. He is Jack Gold to my right. Excited to bring you another edition again. This show is now twice a week. Of course, today is Tuesday. Our next edition of the show is going to be Thursday. We're going to keep doing what we've been doing, which is Tuesday, it's the news cycle. Thursday, it's the previews. Jack, how are you this week as we are fully into the month of September?
I'm excited. It was a good weekend of fights. We have a crazy week of fights up here regionally and with UFC. It's UFC Noche. I think it's going to be a real good week. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel good, man. It's good that we're finally back into the schedule of things. The week long break of no UFC was definitely a little bit confusing, but it was nice to see last weekend with UFC Paris how well that event turned out and how exciting that event was. Before we get into some of the other stuff we're going to be talking about today, just briefly, what did you think of UFC Paris this past Saturday?
I thought it was awesome. I mean, it set a new record for the most KO TKOs of any UFC card ever. I thought it was a great card. I picked all right. I think we both picked all right. But the co-main event, Mauricio Huffy, what a shocker to me. What did you think about that?
Yeah, it was a wild fight. Good to see Benoit Saint Denis win in his home country, and you had just mentioned it a second ago. Predictions wise, you outdid me by one fight. You beat me. You were 8-5, and I was 7-6. So we differed on a couple. I don't remember what the decider was, but what I do know is that you were able to edge me just a little bit, which I was surprised about, considering that I actually got the main event right and you didn't. So
I think the decider, if I was correct, was Gomez versus Ruchala. I think
that's
you picked
correct because
Ruchala.
we differed on that fight. That's
Yes, we
that's
did.
that's correct. Yeah.
But
So
as a whole, I thought the card was fantastic. I thought there were great fights throughout the whole thing. I thought Mason Jones looked great, survived a hard flurry. Nasruddin Amavov looked pretty good. What did you think about the rest of the card?
yeah, overall I thought the card was solid. I thought the main card was really good. I figured that Paul Craig would retire with a loss. I didn't know he would do it in the fashion that he did. He was just dominated by Buskaskis. But overall, though, I thought it was a solid card, and it's one of those events where I think it's up there as one of the best events they've ever brought to France. It's probably number two behind maybe the behind who knows, maybe a Cyril Gahn fight that I'm forgetting about. But
Cyril Gahn versus Tuivasa. That's the one that's coming out on top of my mind.
that's probably the one. But yeah, overall though, I thought it was a good card. We both did well on predictions, so there's nothing really too much to
The
sweat
two
at
fights
there.
before we
Um,
move on, I want to talk about Antadelia's debut. He looked fantastic. Quick KO against Tybura. He's instantly a contender at heavyweight.
oh yeah, he is going to be a dark horse in that division for quite some time, and it sets up for some very intriguing matchups. Barring what happens with this Aspinall Jon Jones situation, to where he may even play the backup role to the backup if they're that desperate to turn the fight around and they need somebody. There's a good chance that he'll more than likely be ready to go.
100%. And then the last one, second fight or third fight of the night, Robert Brychek made me eat every word I said about him last week. I
Third
said,
fight.
great fight, great finish. And I thought if I was almost, if Ihor Poteria beats you, I was an automatic no bet. And Robert Brychek, he proved me wrong, got the finish against a very tough Brad Tavares.
Yeah, he sure did. That was a great fight, and it just goes to show that I think Tavares is a shell of his former self. I think if he isn't cut already, I think he'll get cut at some point in the near future.
And lastly, my girl, Sam Hughes, first round or second round finish, can't remember, but good submission win, dominated Shauna Bannon. I was very happy for her. 11-6. She's sticking around a little longer to outdog some of these girls.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in the second round, and for sure that's a finish that she needed. And Bannon, I don't think, based on her recent track record, I don't really think she has it anymore. She may need to either take a year off or think about going into a different promotion, because It didn't look like she was ready to go at all, unfortunately.
I agree. I think she might be getting her packet and her signing papers after one more fight. But like what you were talking about after UFC Paris here, there was some big news this week.
Yeah, there was some gigantic news. So let's get to it off the top here. The Wall Street Journal reported late last week that the White House card is done, except the big caveat to this, which is one I was really surprised about, is it's not going to be on July 4th. It's going to be at the end of June. I'm not trying to be one of those guys, but I think it sort of kills the luster a little bit. What do you think?
I agree for the spectacle. It would make a ton of sense. Do it July 4th. It would be amazing. But on the flip side, I'm pretty happy they're not doing it on July 4th for two reasons. One, I think a lot of adults, people who may have kids, the people who that's a pay-per-view, people who will buy a pay-per-view.
Well, no, it wouldn't be pay per view anymore. It would
Oh,
be
you're right. It would be on CBS. My
Yeah, it would
mistake.
be regular CBS. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it would be such a massive fight. But on July 4th, what do you do with the family and kids? You take them out. There's parades, there's fireworks. And I think you lose some people coming to that and lose some viewers for the fight. And on top of that, a little personal thing, I have a wedding this July 4th. So I'm
Okay.
happy I will not have to miss the UFC White House card.
Oh, see, there's always a positive for everything, right? So, I mean, I guess with alluding to that, um, I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I think, I think that now it's real and that it's actually happening. I still can't believe it. What about you?
I'm pretty pumped. I believe it. I thought it was real. I think it was one of those things where it was just like, I think, and this is not a political show, but I think with Trump helping the UFC originally, I think there was a heavy likelihood that he was down to do this. And he was the one that was like, we're
Yeah,
doing this. We're doing this at the White House. And Dana, I guess, is just like, all right, if you say so. And
yeah,
I
yeah. You're
liked it.
right. I feel like it's gonna be. I mean, I know we're like a year away from it, but I think it's gonna be a sphere type of vibe. What do you think? I think it's gonna be one of those where the prelims aren't gonna be heavily produced, and then once the main card starts, it's gonna be like, oh wow, okay.
I think it's going to be one of those things where pardon me, I agree. Producing wise, I think that main car is going to be USA in this hoe. You know what I'm saying? Derek Lewis,
Yeah,
he's saying that. But on the flip side, I don't think it needs that spectacle. I think the spectacle is you have the octagon on the South Lawn with the White House lit up at night behind you, maybe in the daytime for the prelims, and you just see, hopefully, unlike the Sphere, you see some vicious finishes.
yeah, that would be the hope. And you stack it with 4 or 5 really big fights, and I think you'd satisfy a lot of people.
I think it would be more than that. Even if it wasn't super big fights, I think they'd make sure they were exciting.
For sure. And speaking of one of those who wants in on the White House card, Jon Jones told his publicist the other day that apparently he's training 5 days a week to convince Boss Man, hey, maybe you need to rethink your decision making here. I want in on this card. Um, I don't know. I think it's very interesting, and I have alluded to this to you previously. I think this is all a negotiation tactic. What do you think?
I listen. I'm sick of the Jon Jones Tom Aspinall talk. I'm sick of Jon Jones. I hate him. He's King Vaughn reincarnated. He's the devil. However, I think the devil will pull Dana back in. We have no made. We need an American headliner to main event the White House
Oh,
card.
100%. And not to disrespect the person I'm about to mention, but there's no way in the world, and this is just, and again, this is not a disrespect thing. It's just a more so they would never do this. I don't think you can carry Kayla Harrison to headline that card. You can't. You
You're
can't
forgetting
do it.
about the best American champion we have right now, Merab Dvalishvili, U.S. citizen.
That's true.
However, you're right. I don't think either of them. I think that would be a very disappointing event. We have no Americans at the top right now, like none. And there's not a ton coming up in the rankings either.
No,
So
there's not.
I feel like they'd either have to do, which in my opinion would be a bad fight, McGregor versus Diaz 4. I would love to see it, but put it as the
DS3, you
co-main.
mean?
or 3 exactly. My bad. I'm all over the place today. But it would be a fun fight, but that's not a main event of the pay-per-view of the White House. And I think Jon Jones, he's lurking. He never lost. I think Tom Aspinall runs through Cyril Gane, and I think the main event will be Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall for the undisputed title.
I don't think so. I think unfortunately you won't get that fight at the White House, and you will get Conor McGregor headlining in that main event spot.
I don't think he
You know,
fights ever again.
I don't know, man. I don't,
He's
know.
running for president right now. He's got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, but again, as we keep alluding to, the fight's in a year. It's not like he can't run for president and get and then get in camp once he's done running for president.
You're
So
100%.
So I don't know. I think it's all really interesting. I think it's all really fascinating, and I'm curious to see what the UFC does. Speaking of what the UFC is currently doing, and I don't mean to divert to this, but it seems like according to Tapology, this is one that I didn't think I was going to be talking about. Apparently, the Zuffa boxing era will begin tomorrow night with a smaller show from the Fountain Blue, and then they're going to have another event on top of it on Thursday night. What do you think of the introduction to Zuffa Boxing? What do you think of the UFC and Zuffa Boxing, if you will, doing 3 cards in the span of 4 days? Um, do you think this is the start of a new revolution? Because I personally think so.
I agree. I think it's a lot. They're biting off a lot, and I think it'll be fine. But I think it's interesting. I had no idea about tomorrow night. I'm going to be happily tuning in. But talking
Yeah.
about Zuffa boxing a little bit, I just want to preface. I saw something today.
Okay.
Callum Walsh versus Fernando Vargas is the co-main event of Canelo versus Crawford.
That's correct.
I would say, and I believe, I don't want to speak for you, but you would say as well, Fernando Vargas is the higher skill level boxer.
Oh, I'm picking Vargas to win by decision. There's no
The
there,
odds
there
came out today. Callum Walsh is minus 330.
insane odds.
I do not call me crazy. I do not understand it.
Insane odds. Callum Walsh has not fought the level of competition Vargas has, not even a little bit.
And
You could
Vargas has
argue,
shown.
and I like Callum Walsh.
Same.
You could argue a few of the guys that he's fought over the last couple of years have been handpicked. You could argue that. Look at the way that he beat some of his opponents on the way up. Even the guy he beat on Fight Pass a year ago was nothing. Was nothing special. The guy he beat in Ireland, he made it look easy.
I was gonna say as well. It's like it called you. I might be incorrect again, but he had a fight in the last 2 years where it was a close decision, like close.
Really, really close fight. You're
Yeah,
right.
and it was just like, man, he was an electrician. Fernando Vargas is like that. He is elite.
That'll
So
be a good fight.
that'll be I'm early pick from Jack Gold. I'm going Fernando Vargas. Hammer that.
100%. And speaking of other fights that are taking place this week, it begins tonight with another edition of Dana White's Contender Series. So far, I'm 17-3. Thus far this season, I think you're at a pretty good clip too. Is
I'm
there any fight?
17-3 as well.
Is there any fight tonight that sticks out to you? Because I expect another crazy week with a lot of shocking finishes. What do you think?
Man, first call me crazy. First fight of the night, the women, the 2 best prospects of the whole evening. I think Carol Faro is fantastic. She's 115 coming up to 125.
Are you taking her against Dyer?
No. I think she's very good, but I think Chanel Dyer is that girl. I think she is so good. And she's bigger, she's faster. She's like a female Nathaniel Wood who knows how to get a knockout. I'm going with Chanel Dyer. It's minus 164. It's a close fight.
We already disagree. Okay. Yeah.
Are you going with Faro?
I am, yeah. I'm picking her by a really close split decision in a great fight.
Interesting. I'm going with Chanel Dyer round 2 body kick TKO.
Okay.
We also have, and now this is just from my research, the next 2 fights, I think they're going to be very fun and exciting. And
I'm excited for the Blair fight more than I am the Franco fight.
I
I think.
agree. I agree 100%. And now I think all four of these people, I think Chase Blair, Sam Sanchez, Freddie Vidal, and Felipe Franco, all not UFC level. Let me
No,
preface
not
that.
even. No, not even. No, not even close.
However, and Sam Sanchez and Felipe Franco are from the same promotion and camp as Rafael Cerquera and Jailton Almeida. Almeida does
That's
pretty
right.
good,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that regional scene is very bad. Their records are against cans, and
Yeah.
Cerquera came to the UFC and has looked terrible. So I'm early picks. I'm picking both Brazilians here. I'm going with Sanchez and Franco, both by finish. But I think once they're in the UFC, they're cooked.
Yeah, I'm taking Sanchez and Franco as well. So we agree. So we agree there. And then looking ahead to the co-main event, Teague versus Douglas. I actually think this is a coin flip fight. I actually think both of these guys are UFC ready. I just think Douglas's conditioning is going to make the difference. What do you think?
I'm biased here. My friends, like my journalist friends, they love Cam Teague. He's a nice guy. I've heard nothing but good things, and he's a fun fighter to watch. However, my personal experience, I've covered Douglas at LFA twice now, and both performances have been spectacular. He's a good guy. He's super nice to me. But he, ever since he went to Cub Swanson 4 fights ago, he's a different fighter. He's dangerous. He could be a little low output at times, but I think he's going to put Cam Teague down and out.
Yeah, I could see that as well. And what do you think of the Carisco Aspelin main event?
This is another biased pick, but I am 100% confident. Steven Asplin, Minnesota native. I have covered more of his fights than maybe any other person. I've seen 4 of his 6 professional fights, and I've seen his loss, and it was against Denzel Freeman, who's a very, very good wrestler. And I wouldn't say Asplin's takedown defense is good by any means, but he's tough and he gets up against a lower level competition. And I think Asplin, bigger, stronger, heavier. I think he's going to get the job done as a week's notice underdog. And
Really?
here are my 2 caveats. One, he was preparing for a fight on Friday in LFA against Jordan Heiderman, who's a very good
Oh
wrestler.
yeah, that's right. And Heiderman, it's the same guy who was on the Ultimate Fighter, right?
Yes, exactly. 7-2. He's very tough. He's proven. And this was on the Gable Stevenson LFA card. This was this Friday. And
Yep.
Garasio, he fought in 2012 as an 18-year-old and got ran over in amateurs. Then he took
Okay.
a break. Then he won a couple. And then in 2021, he came back, got ran over. And then all of a sudden in 2022, he's 4-0, 3-0 with a no contest, all knockouts. And his last 2 were pretty good. And it was the last one against Bailey Schoenfelder, who was a huge favorite on Contender Series
That's
last year.
right. I do remember that. Yep.
And turns out his last loss was against Dyer Nergoze, who's not been good at all.
No, he
And
hasn't.
my personal opinion, I think Horacio is not good either. He thinks he's the hottest guy to walk on the planet. And I think he's short. I think he's slow. I think he's not big enough for heavyweight. I think he's undisciplined. And I think Steven Asplin outlasts him for the first 3 minutes of the fight and gets the job done. And he is a UFC fighter, flopping his boobs at the camera like every fight.
Well, I'm gonna make you a deal. If Aspel wins this fight, I will pick him to win his UFC debut, assuming he gets a contract.
I like
So
it.
So I don't believe you tonight. But if he wins and I'm wrong and you're right, you will see me 1,000% pick him for his UFC debut, regardless of who it's against. Too, if you believe in his hype train that much, I gotta get it on it at some point. Give me one more fight, and I'll do exactly that.
I love it. And I'll tell you this as a fair warning, Asplin, he'll knock people out, but he's not flatlining anybody. He's the
Okay.
type of guy, he'll grind you out. He's not no Martin Bidet, but he'll grind you out on the feet, pick you apart, pop you, pop you, pop you. And when you're tired and you can't go anymore, he can, and he will put it on you.
So, I mean, as we've reviewed all these fights, do you think this is a chance to be one of the better episodes of the season so far?
I think this is going to be the worst episode of the season talent wise, but I think it's going to be very exciting. And last thing about Asplin, I'm sorry to keep going on it. He
No, it's
used to be
okay.
500 pounds. He
Wow.
he used to be 500 pounds, and now he's a 250-pound, great conditioning heavyweight. So I'm just happy that he's made it this far. But I think it's going to be a very fun event. Chanel Dyer and Douglas are my 2 best prospects of the card.
So, if you were to guess how many fighters are getting a contract tonight,
I'm gonna say 4 because I don't think we can go 5 for 5 4 weeks in a row, or 3 or 4 weeks in a row. But my concern is that one of these guys like Douglas or Asplund gets a decision and they win, but they don't get signed.
Right, and Dane is obviously never happy when that happens.
Yeah.
So now, is there going to be a snub tonight where you think, "Oh shoot, they should have signed him and they don't, and they don't do it"? Because that happens sometimes too, where Twitter goes crazy because a certain prospect that looks good, they don't take a chance on him for whatever minor reason.
I think if it happens, it'll be in the first 2 fights. I think no matter what the result is in the women's fight, Dana will sign them because they're very good.
Okay.
However, if it goes to a decision, which it very well may, who knows? He's a stinker about it. But that next fight, Sam Sanchez versus Jason Blair, call me crazy. I kind of think it's going to be boring. Like I think they're both exciting, but I could see Sanchez just taking him down and holding him there, trying to get the sub working, whatever. And I could see him getting like a dominant late round 2, early round 3 sub, and Dana just being like, meh.
Okay. And the last question in Contender Series that I have for you before we wrap it up with one more thing: out of the 5 fights in the card, is there going to be one fight that pisses Dana White off the most? And which one will it be? Because we've seen it before in years past where a guy will make a split-second decision, Brandon Wagner, and of course not get signed. He's obviously a non-UFC success story, but he's done that in the past where it looks like they're 99% there, and they make one small decision, and he's just like, yeah, you're never getting signed. Deal with it.
Call
So
me crazy. I think that might happen in the Franco fight because I think Franco's athletic, strong, and he's going to finish Vidal. However, Vidal's 3-0. He's a wrestler. Decision in his first fight. TKOs in his last 2. I can just see he's like a collegiate wrestler. I could see Vidal just stinking this thing up, winning a 3-round grimy decision, and Dana just being pissed because he's like, "You screwed up my prospect, and you were boring."
yeah, well said. So with a few minutes left, let's get into what we're going to be talking about on Thursday. We're going to be previewing the Noche UFC card. We'll also preview Canelo versus Crawford. Do you think, if you were to guess, do you think we're going to get any other major breaking news come Thursday, or do you think that by the time we preview both of those, there's not going to be much left to talk about? Because I feel like there's going to be some breaking news that people don't expect this week.
Keep going. Hold on 1 second.
Go ahead. Go ahead. But anyway, as I was alluding to, in just a couple minutes, we'll wrap up this episode. But on
What
Thursday
week
again,
is it? UFC Noche.
yeah, that's exactly right. That's a nice hat too.
Gifted to me. I wasn't there, but it's exciting. I love Noche
I
every
have a
year.
hat, and I can relate. I have a hat too that was gifted to me. I wasn't there either, so I can relate.
But I'm excited. I think it's a weaker card, like I've said last week and the week before. But there are some fun fights on here, man. Like the main event after the 2 nerds went down this weekend. Who knows what'll happen? I think Gene Silva's legit, so I think they're gonna be fine.
I'm actually picking Gene Silva to knock out Diego Lopez.
Same, I agree. And the co-main event with the short notice step up of David Martinez versus Rob Font, a very interesting fight. I think Rob Font is a fraud checker of all fraud checkers. He's the gatekeeper. But man, I don't know. I think it's super close. And breaking news, and I know this isn't a basketball podcast, but we're both Chicago boys. The Chicago Bulls signed the Giddler 4 years, $100 million.
Wow. That's all. That's well. Chicago fans do need good news considering the Bears decided to crap the bed last night against Minnesota. So
Oh, it was terrible. I fell asleep in the third quarter, 17 to I think it was 17-7. I was like, "Oh, we're good, 17-8." And then I woke up and it was 27-17. I was like, "What? What?" But
yeah,
back to UFC for a minute. There's some great fights on this Noche card. We've got Jared Gordon versus Rafael Garcia. Kelvin Gastelum's back against Dustin Stoltzfus.
I think Kelvin Gastelum is fighting for his career. Let me just say that point blank. He needs he needs a dominant performance against Dustin Stoltzfus, because if he doesn't do that, I don't know if he can beat anybody at any of the caliber guys at 185 or 170 for that matter. So
I I think he's coming in shape. I think he's coming in ready, and I think he's gonna put it on Stoltzfus. But
I could
my
see it.
most anticipated fight of the night, let me tell you, Jose Medina versus Dusko Todorovic, the
That'll
two
be a
worst middleweights in the UFC, go at it.
Yeah, that'll be a really not technical fight. Let's just say that. There's gonna be
No,
some wild stuff in that. There's gonna be a lot of mistakes made between both of them. It's gonna be really bad.
actually, let me put this back on. I'm double Gene Silva today, I guess. I'm repping it.
Okay.
But no, it'll be an awesome card. Claudio Puelles is back. He makes his return since a long layoff. Jesus Aguilar versus Luis Garul. Cedrique Stumas, after his last fight got canceled because he couldn't get his ankle monitor off. He's got it off this week. He's fighting.
That's right.
News
And
coming
he's
out of the
fighting and he's fighting for his bank account too.
I was gonna say news came out this week. He's broke. He's got $13.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terrible. It sucks.
Terrible.
Well, it's hard to feel bad for a guy who has been arrested 18 times.
And his mugshot was exactly the same all 18 times too.
No, the hair just keeps getting longer and longer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But who else do we have on this card? We've got the last tough finale. We got Rodrigo Senzanando
Which
versus
I was supposed to see in person, but the damn fight got canceled. Same
we.
with you too.
I know. As I was leaving the arena that night, I ran into Donchenko. I was like, "Dude, you were supposed to fight tonight."
No, I know.
But
Was he
we also
bummed out about it? I didn't get a chance to talk to him after. Was he bummed he couldn't fight in Chicago?
a little bit, but he was pretty happy because I guess he got paid a little bit and he got to eat all the good food. And he was like, "I love the pizza."
Okay, good for him.
But my most anticipated fight of the prelims, call me crazy, besides Zach Reese versus Cedrique Dumas, that's the best meme fight ever, and Medina versus Dusko, we got two. But after that, an actual competitive fight, we got
The
Alessandro
actual
Costa.
competitive fight.
We've got Alessandro Costa versus Alden Correa.
That's a great fight.
Alden Correa getting the straight signing, being the Fury champion, and he's fighting Alessandro Costa.
Yeah, that's not an easy. Yeah, that's not an easy first fight.
Oh, teammate of Diego Lopez. That's a banger.
Yeah, it's a good fight. Yeah,
And I just want to point out as well, like we were talking about, we'll talk about it on Thursday a little bit too. We have LFA this Friday. Gable Steveson makes his professional MMA debut in the
I'm
co-main
excited.
event.
I'm excited for it.
What do you think? What do you think about it?
Well, there's no way I'm not watching it. It's number one. I'll watch that. I don't watch LFA as much as I used to, but a guy of that caliber being on the card, there's no way I can't miss that. And I'm just excited for the intrigue, man. I hope he wins so the LFA can start to build him up a little bit, because I think the LFA is doing it the right way. They're one of the few regional promotions, in my opinion, where I feel like you need to give people a reason to watch these promotions and to already have a name that people know, to already have a former Big Ten stand like him with all of his success in wrestling and stuff like that. I think it's going to get a lot of newer fans to learn what the LFA is by watching him compete, and if he wins, the sky is only the limit, in my opinion.
Two, double headliner, former Minnesota Gophers, both Big Ten All-Americans. Mitch McKee is the main event as well. So
That's right.
Minnesota is going to be showing up for this fight. It's at Mystic Lake Casino in Minneapolis. I think the crowd's going to be popping. It's about 3,000
Yeah, it's
people
it's
in that
almost
theater.
it's almost sold out, I heard.
Yeah, it will be by the time Friday comes around.
Oh, for sure.
But
For
I
sure.
can't wait. It's a really good week of fights. We've got boxing 3 times this week. We've got MMA tonight. We got MMA Friday. We got MMA Saturday. We've got football Saturday. We got football Sunday. We got football Monday.
Yeah.
It's going to be an exciting
And we have
time.
football on Thursday, Jack.
It's a great week in sports, and it's a great time of the year.
Yeah, it's a great week in sports. It's a great time of the year. That's going to do it for another edition of the MMA Outsiders. We will see you guys on Thursday for a full-on preview of UFC and Canelo Crawford. And just as one final reminder, because I've been getting messages about this all week, Canelo Crawford is not on pay-per-view. If you have a Netflix subscription, you can watch it. So if anybody's interested in tuning into that fight and has Netflix, there's no excuse.
And the
So
card starts at 3 p.m.
that's right. That's exactly right. So should be a fun one. Well, hey, have a good one, and we'll see you Thursday afternoon. And enjoy Dana White Contender Series tonight. And for those of you who are picking it, good luck. Have a good one, everyone.